In this video, we are going to find the subtask that did not execute. Hello, this is Jagan from Grow with Data. I am posting this video to share my knowledge in SQL with you. If this assists you in your interview preparation anyways, I'll be happy. Welcome to the 49th video of our Advanced SQL 50 interview question series. We have different topics to cover, and we are now covering the topics related to the CTE and the Windows function. This video will be tagged in Advanced SQL 50 questions playlist, and the code we discuss in this video will be uploaded to the GitHub. The link for the GitHub page will be in the video description part. Now let's see the data set and we can talk about the question in detail. So we are given two tables, task and executed. In the task table, they have given the task number and how many subtasks has been executed. So for task 1, there are 3 subtasks which are supposed to be executed. And for task 2, there are 2 subtasks to be executed. And for task 3, 4 subtasks to be executed. And the second table is the executed table, which shows which task ID and which subtask ID has been executed. The first one is the count, right? So 3 subtasks. When you come to the second table, for the task 1, only one subtask has been executed, which is 2. And for the task 2, we are supposed to have 2 subtasks, but none of them executed. And for 3, we have 4 subtasks, and all the 4 subtasks are executed. So when you say subtask, it starts with 1 and then it goes till the final count of the subtask. So let's create the table. If you see this, we have the task 1 which got 3 subtasks. So it's supposed to be 1, 1, 1, 2 and 1, 3. So the missing parts are 1, 1 and 1, 3 are missing. And for 2, we are completely missing that. So for this, we are supposed to have 2, 1 and 2, 2. And for 3, all the subtasks are here, 4 subtasks, and the count matches. So the missing part is this 4. So what they are asking us to do is, we have to find the IDs of the missing subtask for each task. So here the missing are 1, 1, 1, 3, 2, 1 and 2, 2. So the output has to show us what is the task and what is the subtask we are missing. So this is what the required question is. So how to find it? So first thing is, we have to have the default set which has this task and the subtask. If we say 1, 3, that means it should be 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3. If it's 2, 2, then it's 2, 1, 2, 2. If it's 3, 4, it's 3, 1, 3, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4. First one is the task, second one is the subtask. We have to create that set first, and then we see how many subtasks got executed. So whatever executed, we just ignore it, and whatever is not executed, we have to report that. Let's start with the hard coding the subtask. So for example, we take 1, 3, right? So we have to get 1, 1, 1, 2 and 1, 3. So we just create that way. Select 1 as num, union all, select 2. When you do union all, the first SQL's alias name is going to carry for the second and the further ones. So if I execute this, it will create 1 and 2. The column name is num. Even if you say as test, rest, as. So if you run this, the column name is going to be num. The second column is not going to be considered. So there's no point of giving the alias name. So we have maximum subtask is 4. So what we are doing is 1, 2, and we say is 4 and 3. So if I run this, I have all the subtasks 1, 2, 3 and 4. We keep this as a sequence data set. sequence data set as we create this CTE table. Now I am going to create a task with each subtask. Whatever task we have, I am going to create the subtask from task inner join the sequence data set. So here I need a dot task, and then I can just bring the count a dot what's the column name, subtask count, and then I'm going to repeat the subtask number. So b dot num. Here I am not giving any join condition like on a dot something equal to b dot something, right? I am not giving it because I want to do a correlation join. So for every record in the task table, this sequence data set will connect to it. So this 4 number is going to repeat for every record in the task table. Let's see. Unknown column a dot task. So task ID, yes, task ID. So task ID, subtask count, and num. So if you see this, let's do order by 1, 2, 3. Okay. So if you see this, you have the task 1, which is going to get repeated for all the subtask sequence we created, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1 repeats for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2 repeats for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 3 repeats for 1, 2, 3, 4. But the problem is 1 got only 3 subtasks and 2 got only 2 subtasks, right? So we have to restrict that. For 1 we don't need this 4, for 2 we don't need this 3 and 4. So we have to filter that. How will I filter it? When I do the join on, basically I just give 1 equal to 1 so that you have that on condition, and I am going to give a filter condition here, b dot num. B dot num is this 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So I am going to restrict that should be less than or equal to a dot the subtask count. So if this is equal to, I am okay with it, but if it's greater than, don't do that. We just restrict that so that once it crosses 3, those records will be eliminated. For this, 2 and 2 is okay, but 3 and 4 has to be eliminated. So that's why I give the condition the num should be less than or equal to the count. So if I run this, now if you see this, 1 got 3 records, 2 got 2 records. So the count, the subtask count is going to have that many subtask sequence. Okay. Now I got a complete data set. So this is going to be the ideal scenario. But what happens? Only these many tasks, 5 tasks are executed. Other tasks are not. So we have to find that missing task. So what should I do? After this, I am just giving a left join to this executed task. Executed E on E dot task ID equal to the main task A dot task ID. So it is going to match with the task ID and then the subtask count and E dot subtask count. So subtask ID. E dot subtask ID equal to this num, right? This 1, 2, 3, 4. That should match. B dot num. If I run this and if I just say E dot subtask ID, if you see this, whichever is got executed, for 1, 2 is executed, so that number matches. For 3, all the 4 are executed, so that matches. 2, none of them are executed, so we have null. So whichever is having the subtask ID as null are those which are not executed. So we are going to track that. So how will I find it? I just put a where condition where this e dot subtask id is null. If I put where condition, then it's going to get this left join, and then it's a must condition. So whichever is null is going to show up here. So when I filter it, I get only these 4 records which are not executed. So for output, we just need the task ID and the missing subtask ID. So we don't need this count and we don't need the null part, and remove the comma. Run this unknown column b.num 3 in order class. Oh, okay. We have only 2 columns, so order 3 is not going to work. So 1 1 is going to be 1 3, and then 2 1 and 2. We got the answer. Only thing is the output column name should be the subtask. So num as subtask. So we got the expected result. So this is what it is, right? Okay. Now since we have only 4 as the maximum here, we just did the hard code. What if the maximum subtask count is going to be 15? Then you have to add all this sequence like 5 and then 6. We have to go till 16, right? This is not a scalable scenario. So how will I fix this to make it scalable, to create the task with all the possible subtasks? So let's see. So to make it a scalable one, instead of hard coding it, I am going to use the recursive CTE table. We have seen the recursive CTE table even in the yesterday's SQL, right? I'm going to repeat the same. So first we do select, you get from the task table for OM task, right? So make it A. So here what are the things given? A dot task ID, A dot subtask count, right? So subtask count from the task. So this is the given data. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to start a sequence here. 1 as num. So here we did the hard coding part, right? So I'm just starting with only 1 column. Now run this. I got the num for whatever the task I have, 1 2 3. I got the num as 1. Now I have to go with 2 3 or 4 based on the count. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a CTE table which is recursive with the keyword is recursive all task as all subtask, right? All subtask as this. I just have the first one, and then I am going to create another sequence which is going to create the 2 3 and 4, however we have to go for, right? So for that I am going to get the same guy here, get the task ID and the subtask count, and then the num I am going to increment it. How will I increment? I am going to call the same CTE table which is a recursive one. B on both are connected to the task ID. B dot task ID equal to A dot task ID, and I am going to have this num part, right? I am going to make it as B dot here. Here we can just make it as a subtask ID. Okay, so we are going to repeat that, right? So you can say subtask ID. So I am going to call from this recursive table, get the B dot subtask ID plus 1, just increment it. as subtask ID. From this, and then we have a condition here, right? The b dot num should be less than the count. I am going to bring that part here. So here we are going to have the count, the subtask count. So I am going to bring that. See, where a dot, the count should be greater than b dot subtask ID. Same condition, less than or equal to or greater than, however you want to. So here the recursive ends, and then I'm going to select star from the all task. So here what I'm doing, first I'm creating the first record. Like every task ID I have one as the subtask ID, and then I'm going to increment that till the number of counts. For that I'm just creating a CTE table as a recursive CTE table, and then I'm joining that to the task table based on task ID, and make sure the subtask count is greater than the ID, so that after 3 it will stop for 1, after 2 it stop for 2, right? So that way. Now if I run this, hopefully no syntax error. Yes. So if I do the order by, much easier, order by 1 comma 2. So for 1 we got 3 records, 1 2 3. For 2 we got 1 2. So previously we create the hard coded one and then we went for it. Here we do a recursive part and then we finish that job. So now we have this task, and then easily we can go for the left join. So here I can just I don't like the star anyways. A dot task ID is what we need, and then the subtask is the main thing. A dot subtask ID, give the alias name as A. From the all subtask, and then we had a left join here. I am going to bring the same left join, the where condition. From A, left join of execution is E, where the E dot task ID equal to A dot task ID, and the subtask ID equal to, now we change that to subtask, and the E dot subtask ID is null, so that we get only the missing records. Order by 1 comma 2. This is unknown column B dot subtask ID was A. So now we got the missing one, 1 1 2 2. So 1 1 2 2. So 4 records, 1 3 1 2. Right? We got what is required. Great. So what we did, we just create the initial one, and then we just do a recursive CTE table, so that we do the other increments 2 3 and 4s, right, in the subtask table, where we call the recursive and we just increment this. So we create the main data set, and then we simply do the left join and then we finish it. So this is a simple way of creating a sequence using the recursive function, and it's scalable. So whichever is the subtask count, this recursive CTE table is going to create the whole set of sequence which is required. So here we start with 1, and then we are going with the end where the condition is count is greater than this. I can create another small, instead of doing a hard coded one and then you're starting it, right? Instead of that, I'm going to do a small twist here. The same recursive. So instead of 1 and then increment, you start with the count itself, subtask count. So what will happen? It will start with the maximum one, the last count, and then instead of the incremental part here, we just say subtask ID -1. So it will be, if it's for 1, if it's 3, and then here comes, it becomes 2 and then becomes 1. So instead of 1 plus 1, 2, 2 plus 1, 3, 3 plus 1, 4. Incrementing, we are just decrementing. 3, 3 minus 1, 3 minus 2. So 3 minus 1 equal to 2 minus 1 equal to 1, and then it stopped there. So the stopping part is the subtask count should not be 0. It has to go till here, right? So here we are decrementing the count. So here I just say task ID subtask count, and then I am just decrementing it, and the condition should be the subtask ID should be greater than 1. So if I do that, I am going to create the same impact. Select star from all subtask. Oop. Unknown column A in. So which column it is? A dot subtask ID. So A is here, subtask count, subtask ID. Okay, A is the task, so this is going to be B. Right? So B is going to be here. So we create the same set. If we give the order by 1, 2, we'll give you the 1, 2, 3, 1, 3. The same sequence. For 1, we got 3 records, 2, we got 2 records, 3, we got 4 records. So here we are not even hard coding 1. We just use the column which is the count, and then we are decrementing it here. Same impact, but a small twist. Instead of incrementing or decrementing, and then we do the same left join process, and then we check for the null value, you get the missing records. So small changes how you create the sequence. Instead of incrementing, we decrementing it. Okay, so that is the one part, and another one is we are doing the left join here, right? So instead of left join, we can change a little bit and see how that works. I'm getting the same SQL. So instead of a left join, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a not in class where this a dot task ID and a dot subtask ID. Right? This one is not in, and then I'm just selecting from the execution one, right? So whichever is in the execution one, I'm just saying select the task ID and the subtask ID from the execution table. So whichever got executed, you just ignore those. Right? So we don't have to do all the other joins. We just get the sequence however we did previously. Is it one an increment or count and then decrement, however you want to. Once you get that, you just taste the task and the subtask. Make sure the task and subtask is not in the execution part, and simply you get the same result. But the problem is if you use a not in class and the data set is big, the performance is going to kill the SQL. So we don't use a not in. The best option is go for the left join and the where condition. But this one looks little bit simpler to write the code. Main challenge is how to write the sequence part. Once you have the sequence, you can have a left join like how we did before, or we can just have a not in class which looks a little bit simpler. So we did 4 different approaches, right? First one, we did the whole sequence as hard coded once, and then we just do a cross join to get all the hard coded sequence ID match with the task, and then you do a left join. So instead of hard coding all the sequence, Since it's a scalability issue, we use a recursive CTE table, and then we create the sequence, then we do a left join. So first sequence we start to 1 and incrementing it. Next we tried with the count, and then we decrement it from 3 to 1. We just did that. And last one, instead of left join, we try the not in class. So this is the overall part. So if you want to practice this code, then this video will be in the playlist Advanced SQL 15 theory questions. So here every video will have a description part where the GitHub will be linked. So for that video, this is the GitHub link. The one we are seeing is the 49th one. So 49th video will have this script. The create statement, expected output, and the first approach of hard coding, second approach for incrementing from 1 and incrementing it, third approach we start with the count and decrementing it, finally we use the not in class. All this SQL are here, you can use for practice. If you want to join the WhatsApp channel, there's a link here, you can use this and join Grow with Data WhatsApp channel. Hope you like this video, and thanks for watching.